These two books on how history repeats itself in 80-year blocks will give you huge insight into what we're going through right now. These 80-year blocks correlate roughly with the length of a human lifetime and are extremely predictable. Each 80-year block can be broken down into 4 smaller 20-year blocks. These are called turnings in the book. These 20-year chunks also correlate with generations, right? You have your boomers, Gen X, Gen Z, millennials, etc. The writers of these books were actually the first to coin the term millennials. But more importantly, each of these 20-year blocks are remarkably similar to the correlating 20-year blocks from the past. The first season is a high, the second is an awakening, the third is an unraveling, and then the fourth is a crisis. Right now, we're in the 4th turning, and these authors actually predicted what we're going through when they wrote this book back in the 90s. But let's start from the beginning. 80 years ago from today in 2026 is 1946, and this was the beginning of our high for our current 80-year history block. And it makes perfect sense. This is right after World War II ended. America was in a period of celebration. Everyone was having babies. The nuclear family was sort of the status quo. NASA was founded. Television. Pop stars like Elvis Presley were huge. American society was on the up. Next is the awakening, essentially a time of extremely passionate cultural growth in society. Here we had the civil rights movement, we had hippies in Vietnam, the first Macintosh computer was launched, companies like Industrial Light and Magic were making movies like Star Wars. Next is the unraveling. This is when the Soviet Union fell. We had 9/11, the war in Afghanistan, we had school shootings, we had the Berlin Wall coming down. Media often revolved around rebellion and violence like Rage Against the Machine. Now we're in the crisis, which basically started with the housing market crash. Those shootings that were so bad in the prior turning are now happening almost every single day within the United States. Depression levels are at an astronomical high. We had COVID-19. We have people doom scrolling their lives away. We have extreme levels of homelessness. We have ICE in the streets and unprecedented levels of political divide. Now looking back at how these history chunks played out in the past, in 1945, the last history block, right, that ended with World War II, literally exactly 80 years before 1945, 1865, the end of the Civil War. If you go back 80 years before that, that puts you in 1785. The Revolutionary War ended in 1783. So this can also be a little bit of a Rorschach test. Do you think that now the current administration is going to send us into the next turning, a new high? Or are we about to go into some potentially huge war-like scenario that is going to mark the end of this crisis turning?